Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of the most frequently asked questions regarding EVs. So yes, EVs are very safe to use. So there are two things to be aware of. So the number one is obviously electrocution. Now, generally this happens when they haven't been installed correctly. So it's whoever's come out to your property and actually installed the EV. So the best way to get around this is, as electricians, we're governed by certain regulating bodies. So there's something called a CPS, so a competent person scheme. So you have someone called the NIC, EIC, and you have someone called NAPIP. And if you're part of these bodies, they actually come out and check your work, and they make sure that you're meeting safety standards as well. So the electrocution mainly will come if it hasn't been installed correctly. So it's very important, whether you get it done from us or anyone else, other electricians, that they're part of a competent person scheme and they're fully qualified and fully competent. And that's where most of the risk lies, is the actual installation. Number two is tripping hazards. So all we're talking about here is basically the lead. So the lead that's been plugged into your EV charger and going off to your car. So there's a chance you could trip over that, but that's just something to be aware of. Other than that, EV chargers are safe to use. So do they require maintenance? Now, EV chargers, they're built to last for years. So a typical charger will usually come with a 3-year warranty. And some of the higher end ones actually go 5 years plus, but the chargers are built to last for around 10 years or so. Now, the damage is going to be the usable parts, so it doesn't require any maintenance, but it is worth checking the cable coming out of your charger and the plug. So these are the movable parts, or the parts that you could trip over or drop something on, or anything along those lines. Now and again, it's just worth checking the actual cable itself and the plug. And apart from that, that's it. The actual EV unit itself doesn't require any sort of service. Yes, you can leave your EV plugged in. So the cars have something called a BMS, which is a battery management system. And what that does, like it says in the title, is manage the battery. So even if the car is full, it will stop the charge, or it will stop it from overcharging. So there's no need to worry if you've plugged it in overnight and left it and it fills up after 2 hours, but you're not waking up till, when it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not waking up till 6. Nothing is going to happen to the car. The car's got its own system to manage the battery. So the answer is yes, you can leave it plugged in. This is a great question, considering we live in the UK and it's raining 90% of the time, living in summer. But yes, they're designed to be outside. They are waterproof. It's completely safe to use in the pouring rain. It's absolutely fine. They're designed, like I said, they're designed to be outside. That's why they can be installed on the outside wall as well. The only thing to be aware of, again, like I mentioned earlier, is if it's installed correctly. So if it's not installed correctly, you could get water dripping down the back or through the hole that's been drilled. So you could get these sorts of issues, but if you use someone that's competent, qualified, registered with a competent person scheme, it should be fine. Generally speaking, no. If it's at home or your workplace, you own it, you don't normally need permission. The only thing that might hold up an installation is if we need to upgrade your main cutout fuse, but apart from that, you don't generally need permission. Obviously, if your property is rented or you've got something like a listed building, those sorts of scenarios, you do need permission. But apart from that, generally speaking, you don't need permission to have one installed. Okay, so the short answer is yes, EV chargers are solar compatible. Now, it does vary on the model that you buy, so you do need to check, or you can ask. So a lot of EV chargers, as they're becoming popular, and so is solar, you are able to divert that energy from the solar panels to your car charger. The caveat with this is the car charger needs a certain amount of power to work. So if you're not generating enough, or there isn't enough in storage, they won't work. But when you get your solar installation installed, or the EV charger, we can always run through this with you and make sure it's the correct system for you. This time, guys, this really depends. So most of the time, no, you can't. You can only use one charger for one car. And this is because each charger requires its own circuit. So it requires its own circuit breaker. Now, if you were to put two in, that takes up a lot of the capacity of the house. And what I mean by that, if I give you an example, if you've got an 80 amp fuse and that is your capacity for the house, and you put two car chargers on and they're both 30 amps, you've taken up 60 amps and it only leaves 20 for the rest of the house, which is nothing. So majority of the time, no, one charger won't do the trick. Now there is one particular charger where you can get away with this, and that's called an easy. And the way this works, it only requires one circuit, but you can have two chargers going out, and you'll have charger 1 and charger 2. And you can put both the cars on charge. And what it will do, the car that needs the charger most, it will give that more power than this one. So if they both had 30 amps, it might give this one 20 and this one 10. And then once this side starts to fill up, it will slow this one down and start giving more power to this side. So it really does depend what model you go for. So majority of the time, no, but if you get an easy, you can have two chargers and two cars charging at the same time. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Please do send in more comments or questions that you have. This is why we made the second part of the video. So if you have got any more, please send them in. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope this answered most of your questions now, and I'll see you on the next video.